Multifactorial trait inheritance. The trait can be polygenic. Multiple alleles at different chromosome locations affect the phenotype. So we're not talking about one gene, we're talking about multiple genes interacting and causing the disease. There are environmental influences such as age, health status, the presence of teratogens in the environment, diet, drugs, alcohol, etc. These are less predictable patterns because it's not just one thing that has to be present, but multiple things that have to be present in order for the disease to express itself. And examples here is hypertension, diabetes, and some cancers. From here we're going to jump to developmental disorders. Developmental disorders are usually secondary to the environment and teratogen exposure. That means during pregnancy, the fetus was exposed to some kind of substance, maybe a virus, maybe something else, and it altered the way its organs were formed. Or later in life, something in the environment essentially poisoned the individual, and they developed some kind of problem. The earlier in gestation a fetus is exposed, the more devastating it is. Early in gestation, organogenesis is taking place. That means organs and tissues are being created. If this creation process is disrupted, it's permanent. Later in gestation, the organs and tissues are there, they're just growing. So disruption and exposure to some kind of teratogen is not as devastating. It causes problems, but it's not as devastating. Now, the exception to all of this is the brain, which is continually developing throughout pregnancy. If you look at this diagram, you can see I've outlined things in red. The embryonic period, the first 8 weeks, is the most crucial time, the most sensitive time in fetal development. During this time, the central nervous system is vulnerable. The heart is vulnerable. Limb development, eyes, cleft lip, ear malformations, the development of teeth, cleft palate, genital development. The organs and the tissues are being created, so they're very much vulnerable during this time to permanent deformations. Okay, examples. Spina bifida. We know that if the mom's not getting enough folic acid, neural tube defects are likely to develop. That's spina bifida. So there's something in the environment that's not giving her enough folic acid, and the fetus is not getting enough folic acid, so we end up with a neural tube defect. Hypertension and cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and many cancers. Mitochondrial gene disorders. Genes within the mitochondria, which is in the cells, can mutate, and they play a role in energy production. This is a matrilineal inheritance trait. That means it's through the mother. Sperm don't carry enough genetic material to pass the disease on, but the ova do.